So good. It is Dumbest Girl Alive by 100 Gecs, the opening song on the album 10,000 Gecs.
Hello.
And I'm very pleased to say that I've got 100 Gecs connected to me. I've got Dylan Brady and Laura Les. How are you?
Never better.
Doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So we're connected online. You're in two separate places. So Laura, where are you?
We're both on Spaceship Earth.
I'm somewhere in the mountains.
Still in California, though.
Maybe not. I'm in Colorado right now.
Okay. And Dylan, where are you?
I'm in LA.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm in 10,000 Gecs. Only came out this year, but already it's clocking up the millions of streams. And we're going to examine how you created some of these songs. And the first one that we're going to look at is Hollywood Baby. So maybe we'll have a quick blast of the master of that, and then we can start at the beginning.
Sure.
Clear blue sky, but it rains all the late fees. Did you get the payment? We had an arrangement. We don't want to watch the news, we just read statements. Yeah, do you want to party? Malibu Barbie? Are you gonna back that shit up when it all comes? Do you want to party? Malibu Barbie? Are you gonna back that shit up when it all comes tumbling down? Gonna hit your foot, no one gives a shit. Better off if you just get over it.
It is Hollywood Baby by 100 Gecs, and this is the first song we're going to look at with Dylan and Laura. So where did it all begin for this tune?
I had a demo of just like the hook bit, and it was like really slow. No riffless.
Do you have that handy?
I could play a tiny bit of it. How do we feel about that?
We feel great. We're showing our whole ass on this, as they say.
Yeah, I'm going crazy. Little tiny Hollywood.
Type vibe, slower,
Yeah,
wetter, softer.
It's cute.
yeah. And so, I mean, this is interesting today because obviously we're hooked up online, and in some ways this is part of your process, I think, that you connect and communicate in separate places online and swap tracks back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, we use in Logic. There's this thing called track alternatives. We used to do it like we'd take a file and then we'd make a duplicate of the file and call it like Money Machine 2 and send it back and forth. And now we've been using the pro power user shit. It's called track alternative. So on each project file, there's like 100 different alternatives or whatever. And so we just keep racking those up, and then we have them saved to a Dropbox so we can just edit off the same project file over and over again now, which is way better than the other way.
Yeah, it sounds. And so, is it a completely smooth operation? In my mind, you see, I'm picturing you both never leaving the studio, but different studios, and you're there 24/7, just kind of working on things all the time. But maybe I've got a misconception.
No way, buddy. I hate working. I just got a dog. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, even when we were working at the same studio, we were using our friend's room at East West for a while. Jeff, who did a lot of the final like mixes for the album, we were working out of his studio, and we were in two different rooms in the same like thing. Like I don't know how to say it. Like two different like individual rooms in the same like studio.
Yeah,
or
he had like an A and B room.
Right. So like even when we're like kind of in the same place, we I mean, I love to work alone because I don't like to subject people to me doing 100 different like takes of the same thing over and over again. So it's kind of nice. And then plus like you can take as much time doing as much stupid little edits, you know. So I like that. But we were together a lot more on this album for sure.
Yeah. And so when Dylan came up with that riff and that little vocal thing, what happened next?
I go, wow, that was such a good thing. Good job, Dylan Brady. Why don't you go ahead and send me that project file and I'll do something to it. So I mean, yeah, it's a process of iteration. So every time we trade it back and forth, we generally try to do something, like we'll add a section or like spruce something up, or there was like a bridge in earlier, I think up to the point when we were recording with Josh, so we'll take stuff out like that because maybe it's just not hitting perfectly right. Or there was pretty recently, I want to say like a few months before we were done with it, there was a totally different verse. Like this was the whatever ended up on the album was kind of the original one, and then I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna come up with a different melody. So there's like this alternative melody verse that's in one of the versions, in one of the project alternatives and stuff. There's I think Hollywood Baby 2, like a very archaic project file, has everything is much more like it would sound on our first album. It's all like very pitched up and stuff. But I mean, what we do is we have all this stuff, and with this one, especially with this album, we just tried to throw like as much spaghetti at the wall as we could, and then eventually the hope is the good spaghetti sticks and everything else melts away, and you get a picture of the Mona Lisa at the end. So I mean, that's we've been asked. I think we did an interview recently where they were like, do you ever want to release like the alternate versions or something? And we're just like, no. I mean, all the best stuff ended up on it. We pruned it. There's fat for the bones, but we wanted to make it as lean as possible.
Yeah.
Like early on, there was like a whole acoustic section and stuff. I was really feeling an acoustic section for the song. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying though. It's like we just throw more and more on there, and then we chisel away as we're going along too.
How long is this whole process, this toing and froing between the two of you?
Varied.
Generally, we go for as long as we have. Yeah, like I mean, you can hear there's some differences between when we turned the album in to get the record cut, because we had to turn our vinyl in very early. We had to turn it in like 8 months before release because the whole record stuff is all backed up now. So there's a lot of differences, some bigger than others, but between the version that's on physical media and the versions that are on streaming. Couple songs have different verses even, so generally we go like as much time as we have, we're gonna use it to spruce things up, I mean, me personally, like some of them were like bugging me, so I was like, I have to change this or else like it's gonna bug me. And I know Dylan was adjusting snares and things up to the line, and the hats in I think it's the hats in Frog on the Floor or somehow different. I don't really remember exactly, but
much better.
Yeah, so we take it up to the line as long as we pretty much try to be making the songs better.
Yeah. It's really interesting to know that some of the versions on the physical versions of the album do vary from what you get on the streaming or the download. That's really interesting.
The verses on 757 are my verse is completely different on the streaming and the physical. I wanted to do something else, so I did something different for the streaming, and then my parts on Billy Knows Jamie are different. Those are like more bold examples, but yeah. That's
really interesting. And when you're doing this kind of exchange, do you each take on particular roles, or are you both working it in the same way, or do you like one person to focus on one aspect and another person to focus on another aspect?
Not really. I mean, I think that we pretty much share most duties. Dylan is a lot more critical of certain things, like the dynamics of the drums sometimes. I mean, I pretty much listen to everything on shitty headphones and stuff, but he's got really nice speakers, so he he catches the dynamics of the drums a lot better. But yeah, in general, not really. We kind of just try to, if either of us has an idea to make it better, we try to do it, you know?
Yeah. And so, I mean, maybe as the riff kind of was where the song started, maybe if we start with the stems and just kind of bring in that riff and then explain the idea process and introduce those elements as you go through, maybe, about, right, well, we had this riff and then we wanted to do this with it or complement it with this other element.
Yeah.
It kind of just started with this riff, though. And then kind of we did most of all the vocal bits without even kind of this one.
Yeah, that riff came in pretty late in the process. We was missing some kind of pizzazz, and Dylan was like, I have a riff. So then it ended up being the centerpiece for like the song.
So what happened after the heavier riff? What did you think? Right, we need to, I'm going to start putting some vocals down on this, or would you go for the drums next, or how do you think about it?
I think I just kind of did drums, that riff, and the vocal kind of all at the same bit. Kind of have idea what the drums will sound like in my head.
The chords kind of lend themselves to just that, like, very Beverly Hills Weezer,
Weezer
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good template for that sort of thing. So it kind of just builds from there, you know.
Do you want to put the drums in? Maybe we could hear that. Go back to that riff and then hear the drums with the riff.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I really like about this one is well, and a lot of them on the album is the mixture of Josh's drums that give you that like space and like a lot of punchiness with like the sample drums layered on top of them. I think that it really like thickens out the snare and stuff, and it's pretty neat to me.
Yeah. And did you start with the real live drums then? Did you get Josh to play a certain beat and then you recorded that and then started manipulating that?
No, we had like the whole demo pretty much.
Yeah, so what we did with Josh was we had V drums that we used for like everything, and then we played it for him, and then whatever his interpretation of how to fuck with the V drums. It sounded like pretty much the same, but like little things like the fills and stuff, that's just him fucking with it mostly, and yeah, it's pretty neat. But it's same thing with the guitar. The guitar is I think it's Guitar Rig, the plugin for one of the amps, and then it's Dylan's Mesa for another amp, and then he has this bass called the Vegas bass, which is like a synth preset, but it kind of like works double purpose as a guitar and the bass, and then he has a regular like electric bass in there too, so it gets really creamy.
Are you able to illustrate each of those elements, Dylan?
Vegas bass.
Yeah, that's the Vegas bass there.
There might not be any. I think it switches from electric too.
It's in there. It's really quiet.
Yeah.
You can't hear it as much under the Vegas bass, but there's an electric bass in there.
Yeah, I think the verses don't have the mesa, so it's just the guitar rig. Gets big.
Yeah, it gets thick. It's that's like 6 guitars playing at the same time, plus a synth line, plus an electric bass. Or like play the guitar part before in the pre-chorus, because there's a lot of guitars on there too that are like pitch shifted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought I needed some more harmonic interest there, so
Yeah.
uh instead of trying to re-record everything, I was just like was chopping just like the individual little parts and just trying to get them to a part that kind of made a something that went along with the chords. And then I don't think the chords are pitch shifted, or like they're like slight, like some of them are and some of them are re-recorded, so you can't hear it as much, but with the riff you could super hear it, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
And
being
the-
very
and the-
scattered right now, but I just think it's neat, you know.
And are you applying lots of different processing on each of these elements as you go along? You know, just until you feel it sounds right. It's got the right level of crunchiness or the right level of thickness or whatever it is you're searching for.
Totally.
Yes.
Some things are more utility, like the pitch shifting, you know. It's kind of like you're changing the song, and then some things are just like we're gonna throw a little decapitator on something, you know, just to like try to get it a little bit thicker, or like a lot with the layering of the drums and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna boost, you know, to 200 on the really punchy snare or something, so that it has some more body or stuff, you know. So it's to varying degrees, but yeah, that's what I'm saying with the iteration. It's like it just goes back and forth, and like it's always being tweaked just slightly. Like everything is getting tweaked.
Yeah.
Although
and so-
I would say I don't think the guitars recorded on Dylan's Mesa have very much at all.
No.
we were kind of just like, sounds exactly how a guitar should sound.
Yeah.
It's exactly right.
And so, I mean, with this record, did you take a different approach to the previous releases? You know, did you want more straightforward things this time round in some ways, to have a contrast with what you had put out already? I mean, because obviously people are going to expect certain things from 100 Gecs, and all those elements are across the album. But at the same time, the vocals are slightly different. You know, there's less auto-tuning on the vocals, you know, and like with this track as a good example, you know, that guitar is, as you say, how a guitar should sound, you know, for the majority of the track.
It's like a mix. Like a lot of it is just we were listening to different kinds of music. So we're kind of, whenever we're not like actively making a thing, or when we are actively making a thing, you know, we're listening to a ton of music and being like, oh, that's cool about that, you know. And so one thing that me personally that struck me for this album was like normal music the normal way. One of the things that we kept saying is we want something that's closer to something that you could play at a barbecue or something, you know. I love this, but I can't play this in front of any of my friends. That was like a common comment on the first album. So it was kind of like,
Right.
it'd be cool to have some more stuff that you could play for your friends, you know. Something you could play for your dad, and your dad would like it, you know.
Some music.
Some music, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Hollywood Baby is a good example of that, you know, in that you can kind of see its connection to Weezer, say, as you've already mentioned them,
Sure.
or, you know, its connection to a band like Sleigh Bells, who are also playing around with,
Sure.
volume in different ways and with program beats in different ways, but at the same time trying to create something that taps into those other more straightforward,
Yeah.
more normal elements.
Well, yeah, and it's it's funny that people talk about this album like it's like all that way. I mean, I think a lot of the things that we did are, I mean, whether they're like normal, it's like it's a lot of the same shit that we did on the first album. There's just a lot of guitars instead of super saws, It's not really all that different. Like it's pretty much the same vibe. We just used more guitars this time and more live drums. I mean, we got to work with Josh Freese, and that was fucking awesome. He's an incredible drummer, and so we were like, "Fuck yeah, we're putting live drums all over the thing."
So any live drums on this record are played by Josh Freese. That's what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah. No wonder they sound so big.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
people will know that
He's got a heavy
There's
hand.
Josh Freese. There's Josh Freese. There's an app called Superior Drummer. It's like a very realistic sounding V drum type thing. There's individual samples that we got off of Splice or
Samples
wherever,
from
various
Josh.
places.
Recording.
Yeah,
Josh.
samples from Josh, like just him hitting a drum once. There's a fucking, I'm trying to think of the other one. I think it was funny, but whatever. Anyway, like there's Logic stock drum kits in here. It's like we pretty much were trying to pull whatever we could into getting it all together. Dylan bought, I think he bought like somewhere between 6 and 8 different snares just to like, we took them in the
physical snare drums.
Yeah, snare
Yeah,
drum. Some with like super resonant and pingy, like those ones, and some more regular ones and stuff. And we just brought them in the same room that we recorded Josh doing it, and just fucking recorded a bunch of different snares so that Dylan's got he's got a studio full of snares and he's got a folder full of samples.
Right. And so, I mean, would you be able to build up a little drum sequence using those elements? Are you able to do that with the stems that you have in front of you?
Yeah. I think we ended up summing the Josh stuff after we mixed it to make it easier to work with.
All of the all of the cymbals are all from the room though. That's all Josh.
This is all.
Yeah.
And then we had.
So you can hear all his stuff in there.
And that snare is him as well, just smashed and shit. So then all together. That stitches nice together.
Sounds great. It sounds so big. It sounds so exciting to have Josh Freese at your fingertips, as it were, and all these other elements, and to bring them together.
We were so excited that he would want to work with us. We actually were trying for like a couple months to get him. We were listening to it was as the Danny Elfman record was rolling out and all the singles were coming out. We would like listen to the singles in the car, and then Dylan was just like, we just need that guy. We need whoever's doing that. We need him to just do our shit. So we reached out to him, and then like maybe I think it was like 2 months later, he got back to us. He's a busy guy. He's
Busy
doing
guy.
he does drums for people wouldn't even realize that he's done drums for like just everything. Just fucking everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I found the riff.
Oh, you found the riff. Which riff is this?
The original Hollywood Baby riff.
Oh, wow. Give it to us.
They said it couldn't be done.
I definitely think it couldn't be done.
There it is.
Fantastic.
There it is, baby.
So the key elements, the riff, the drums, and then the vocals.
Yeah, the vocals. Well, Dylan had his hook like the entire time. Like he he knew exactly what he wanted it to be from like the beginning. So he obviously on the old version that you heard, the original version, it was like whatever. So he re-recorded it, a little more energy and stuff. And then my verse, I did like a ton of way too many fucking takes being anal about it. So didn't end up getting done till way later. But it's like each verse is like 3 different layers, and they're all like they're auto-tuned, but in a way that you can't tell as much. Very, very slight type auto-tune.
Yeah. Can we hear Dylan's vocal and then we can hear Laura's vocal? Is that okay? Just in terms of.
Here's my vocal.
I'm going crazy, little tiny Hollywood baby, brand new Mercedes, I've been at the crib going crazy.
Very tuned.
It sounds
Perfect.
great, though. And so, I mean, and those 2 lines were kind of a jumping off point for you, Laura.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's about being a baby in Hollywood. So I wrote a bunch of things about how I fucking hate a lot of things about Hollywood, and then that's what it ended up being. And then I did a bunch of takes trying to get it right.
Right.
Especially those high notes. I was like, God damn, it's so high. But I was like, it has to be that though.
Party, Malibu, Barbie, are you gonna back that up when it all comes to
So good.
And do you sing with the autotune on, or do you apply it afterwards?
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of modern computing is you can do it most of the time without latency. So
Yeah.
shout out to Waves Tune Real Time. And yeah, definitely trying to keep it on so that I can hear what it's doing as it's doing it and stuff. Play the outro. The outro is funny because it's like, I think I want to say here, I have the project open right here, trying to see how many fucking layers it is on here.
make it in Hollywood, baby. You'll never make it in Hollywood, baby.
So it's like 30 vocals.
Yeah.
It sounds great, though.
Yeah, we're real professional musicians now, you know. So had to get the tracks going, and then each one of those has fucking about 4 or 5 different plugins on it. It's like it's a lot of the time making this album was just spent like freezing tracks so that they didn't like chug our CPU, because we're working off laptops like 100% of the time. So we're constantly trying to figure out how to get the tracks to actually like record and play like without shredding our computer. I'm looking here, right? The stereo out track is like track 334 on this project. So it's now a lot of those are like muted and like off. But like it's just funny to look at your project file and it's like, yeah, there's 334 different different tracks happening here. If we did a real track rundown, it would take ages.
But it illustrates just how far and how much you have to do to kind of realize what you're trying to do.
We could probably do it with less. we went a little bit crazy.
So, I mean, before we move on from Hollywood Baby, are there any elements that we should highlight to people, that you want to highlight to people?
No.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's just have a reprise of Hollywood Baby in all its glory, so that people can put it all back together in their minds.
Sure.
And here's how it all ended up.
What you cooking about, baby? Are you getting lazy? Clear blue sky, but it rains all the late fees. Did you get the payment? We had an arrangement. We don't wanna watch the news, we just read statements. Yeah, do you wanna party? Malibu, Barbie? Are you gonna back that shit up when it all comes to you? Wanna party?
Literally hundreds of tracks to create this magic Hollywood Baby by 100 Gecs. And I guess I should have asked whether this had any relation to you moving to LA, Laura. Because when I first heard it, I thought, does that connect in any way to, because obviously, Dylan, you've been living in LA for a few years. but Laura kind of joined you more recently.
Yeah. Well, I was living in Chicago. I was doing school whenever Dylan moved to LA, so I was thinking about doing it when he did. I was like, maybe I should just. I wasn't really liking school very much. I was like, maybe I could just move, fuck it. And I ended up finishing school, staying there for a while, and then once stuff started kind of popping off with Gecs, I was like, okay, now's definitely the time. Like, I want to try it, belly of the beast. Get to hang out with Dylan all the time too, and kind of be around, everything going on. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And so yeah, move there, and then saw all the stuff, and I was like, all right, I got my fill.
And now you're in Colorado.
Now I'm in Colorado.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to look at 757. The next song we're going to look at with 100 Gecs by 100 Gecs is 757. So Dylan, if you could play us the master, that would be great.
Smoking since 11, told the devil he's 11, yeah, 757, yeah, I'll never go to heaven. I've been smoking since 11, told the devil he's 11, yeah, 757, yeah, I'll never go to heaven. I've been smoking since 11, told the devil he's 11. I got problems with my spinning, all these horses in my engine doing 80 in a steady, but I'm never in a hurry, screaming la-di-da-di-da-di. All I wanna do is coffee, drinking bottles of mezcal, taking pictures at the model, staying up until the morning. Never said I was more discerning, oh wow, like I used to water something starting, yeah, 757, yeah, I'll never go to heaven. I've been smoking.
It is 757, 100 Gecs from 10,000 Gecs. And we were just going through drum tracks, and in some ways 757 is one of the key tracks with amazing shifting drum takes. You've got it sounds to me when I listen to it that you've got tons of different drums there, and you're constantly moving, it's constantly shifting.
Yeah, a lot of different drum feels.
Yeah, it's a bit of
Electronic type vibe.
a manic one. Yeah, a little more electronic vibes.
So, I mean, how did 757 come about? Because I'm just wondering, with each of these tracks, do they just emerge out of experimentation, or just a light bulb moment, and then you kind of quickly record that, quickly sketch that, and then start building that up from there? Or do you occasionally have more of an agenda where you think, what we need to do is make this kind of a track. That's what we want to do.
I had like an idea for a riff that kind of hit like that with the space, like the kind of thing, and then I kind of just built around that a bit.
I think when I heard it first, it was pretty much the chorus of how it is now. I mean, minus maybe some production. It was pretty much sounded exactly how it sounds on the record. This is one of the ones that came together a little bit easier, and it was mostly just little tweaks along the way.
And the second half kind of, I don't remember what that was originally.
The end, I don't think it was anything originally, and then
it was just that vibe, I think, right?
Yeah, it was. It used to be all like how the rest of the song is, and then I was like, cool to do a slower ending type bit.
57, yeah, I'll never go to heaven. I've been smoking since 11, told the devil he's 11, yeah, 757, yeah, I'll never go to heaven. I've been smoking since 11, told the devil he's 11,
What's that? What
Sorry,
did you just play?
757-2.
So what bit of piano is this?
So that's we were in what was that, Studio 1, I think, at East West. We did a bunch of stuff in Studio 1 because nobody else was there, but we were working at like 3 a.m. So we snuck into the big expensive studios and got some tracks in there. It's where like Michael Bublé records and stuff.
Right. So is that a grand piano?
So that's
there?
a grand piano
Yeah.
that's in Studio One. We did that. We also got, I think we did the guitars in I Got My Tooth Removed.
And the piano for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have the opportunity, why not? You know.
Yeah.
We thought we really wanted the acoustic piano there for a while, and we ended up not using it.
Yeah.
Still, it would be cool to use it for something, but who knows?
So I mean, there's the kind of breakdown section. It goes almost like sped up Bach or something like that.
How did you do that? Was that just like that wasn't just mashing? I think you did like a whole. He did like a whole keyboard solo, and then
Yeah.
we took the MIDI of the keyboard solo and like sped it up, and then used that as the pitch shifting thing. You can
So
MIDI in.
it's just like a really long vowel changing, like
So you.
It's just a really long vocal that is the notes are controlled by MIDI really quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
But the whole song slows down too. And then goes up. And then we doubled it. We doubled it with the banjo. And we doubled it with the sine wave. Then it's all like this.
I smell the trees.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's I
Yeah.
love how the MIDI tracked vocals sound on that last bit. So good. Just comes together, you know.
Do you have that initial vocal there, Dylan?
I think it's just his vocal from the chorus saying 757 just slowed all the way
Yeah,
down.
it's like,
Yeah.
here, I can kind of do a fake one.
So for the listening audience, he chopped out just like a section of the chorus, and he's got it on a new track, and he's gonna stretch it out, and then that's what it'll sound like
Right.
minus the
Yeah.
the pitch. Are you gonna do the pitch too? Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a real treat for the listeners.
Yeah.
some,
So if we hear what it sounded like and then hear what you're
So we
doing
got
to
this.
would be brilliant.
Nice.
So he's got the slowed down thing that you heard, the slowed down cutout. Yep, and then he's got a MIDI track that's going to control the pitch shifting. That he's got a little thing written in there.
Etc.
Yep. And
That's great.
simple as, and then you play a little keyboard solo.
Yeah, it kind of misses the note sometimes, but it works better on the raw vocal.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
anyway, you can kind of get an idea of how to.
I smell the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So I think Johann Sebastian Bach would like that. I think that's what he would be doing.
I don't know. He
in
hasn't hit
the
us back.
21st century.
If he likes us so much, you should answer our calls. Keep trying to get him on a track.
So when you started doing 100 Gecs, I mean, you've been working in the exploration of musical production for a long time, since you were teenagers, I would say, both separately and together, off and on. Because from what I've read, you know, you were in different schools, but in the same place. You met as teenagers. You were both interested in making music, and you were both making music in different ways. And you were kind of trading ideas, trading influences and taste, and kind of coming together because you both had similar taste, and maybe the people around you that you were actually making music with didn't share that taste in quite the same way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just a different vibe. Dylan's made music with a ton of people, you know. It's just,
Yeah.
we just ended up really congealing on certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I first heard 100 Gecs, I thought of so many different artists, that have come through in the last couple of decades, be it Kid 606 or stuff that came through on the digital hardcore label from Berlin, or, I guess a bit more recently, like people like Sleigh Bells and everything. And I just wondered how much you were aware of all those things, or whether the exploration led you to kind of similar conclusions or similar thrills that you were getting along the way by doing all these things.
I mean, we always try to make music for us, for the majority of it. It's like, just what do we want to be listening to? Like, that's why, we just always say, like, it's totally dependent on whatever we're listening to at the time and stuff. So, like, yeah, I mean, in high school, I was super, super duper into Sleigh Bells. I like to categorize myself as a pretty ravenous music listener. I try to go down as many rabbit holes and listen to as much shit as get my hands on and stuff. And Dylan's the same. And I've just recently stopped listening to music. I've determined that I only like about 20 albums, and so I've been listening to nothing but those 20 albums just over and over again recently. I'm like, all right, I've heard enough but the bullshit. I'm good. I got like 20 albums to listen to now.
What are those 20 albums then?
What do we got here? I'll open up my Apple Music. Classic albums such as Agents of Fortune by Blue Oyster Cult, Boston by Boston, Paranoid by Black Sabbath, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, Sonic Excess in its purest form by Crowbar, Toxicity by System of a Down, Ohms by Deftones, $3 Bill, y'all, by Limp Bizkit, Roseland, New York City Live by Portishead, Grotesque by The Fall, fucking Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182, In Utero by Nirvana, yeah, so anyway,
that's a great cross-section.
Rocket by Alex G. Yeah, I'm listening to a very small palette now.
Yeah, I think I can see the point of that. I think sometimes you need to do that. I've heard that from a few different producers and sources that you don't need more than 200. They would say 200 albums is enough. Anything
I mean 20 might be a bit low, but yeah.
One of the reasons why I was asking about that kind of stuff was that we did have a couple of Patreon questions. So people from our Patreon were wondering about the educational side of what you're doing. And John Mason wanted to know if you had any formal training, and that if you did you have any learning in how to make music? So that was one of his questions. And I know that, like you were saying to us, Laura, that you finished school. So you went and did an audio engineering course, was it?
I did. It's a bachelor's of science in acoustics. It's like a engineering type vibe.
Yeah. And Dylan,
so it's a lot of math and science, but not very much music production.
Right. That's interesting. And Dylan, you went to college but thought, no, I'm going to go to LA, because you had already started hooking up with lots of different artists and started working with them via SoundCloud. Is that right?
Yeah, but I did also go for 3.5 years to audio school.
Right.
I mean, the biggest thing about school, I think, is that, like, when you're in school, you kind of are afforded, I mean, at least I was, it's different for everyone, of course, but I was afforded some time to just, like, fuck off, and like, I was recording couple like local people, just people that were like at the school or whatever, and doing engineering stuff that way, or audio engineering stuff that way, and just like a lot of time. When I was in school at the back end, I was working in a fucking reception job, so I had a lot of time to just like sit on my computer and fucking just mess around on Logic while I was doing that, because when you're a receptionist, you don't actually do very much.
Right. Going back to 757, I mean, it looks, when we look at the screen, looks like you've got all sorts of amazing sounding effects there. You know, I'm looking at gunshot and synth nexus, and you know, could you show us some of those?
You should solo just all the sound effects. Dylan made a bunch of like transformer type sound effects for this album, and a lot of them didn't get used, but on this song they did. So many. He has like a huge folder of Transformers type sound effects.
I'll play a couple.
He's got a bunch of them.
So, and how did you make them?
This one was a recording of my AC unit that is like frequency shifted, the tremolo automated, maybe delay automated. This is a balloon being scratched with all the same shit. This is some celery with all the same shit. Guitar string, all the same stuff. Dishwasher. This one's from a synth.
There was a while where he just had this chain, like all those ones that had the same processing. He just had this like chain, and it was saved as a preset on his computer. So like, I just like, remember we were just sitting around and he was just throwing different shit into it and just like seeing like if any of it was fun. So like all of those were obviously the ones that he kept, but it's just it's funny.
That's great.
Just like imagine him at the computer for like an hour at a time, just throwing different different things in there.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Breaking wood.
Yeah.
So we got that in there right here.
Great. I mean, yeah.
Made a bunch of these like sweep things too. Didn't really use that many of them.
So many different sounds.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And so many options. After you've created all this stuff, I mean, do you reach a freezing point where you can't go any further because you just don't know which ones to use, or is it just all trial and error?
I don't know, I feel like sometimes I'll just go into like modes of where I'll just be making a bunch of kind of stuff to use periodically, but I'm not actually making a thing, and then I'll just have access to it later. But stuff's definitely falling through the cracks.
Makes his he makes sample packs. He's got so many just things to pull from. I hate doing that stuff.
It's 252 gigs
of just samples.
It's too big.
Love that.
Wow.
We got this bass layer too. Normal bass, high layer, stereo vibe.
McDonald's, I left my cell phone dead at the house. I see the stars when the sun goes down. Somebody's making money off of my problems. Where that you're talking, you better wear a condom. I smell cowards and sons of a bitch. Everything quick, all smells like shit. I smell the trees when I'm in Colorado. Interior gas station McDonald's. I left my cell phone dead at the house. I see the stars when the sun goes down.
The big gunshot.
The vocals on that part are just the same thing that we did for the rest of the song, but just two layers that are singing harmonies and then a raw one on the top. I like how it thickened out.
He's making money off of my problems. Way that you're talking, you better wear a condom. I smell cowards and sons of a
Amazing. So
that's a wrap.
757. So we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back to look at the most wanted person in the United States. The next song we're going to look at is The Most Wanted Person in the United States by 100 Gecs. We're getting ahead of ourselves already, but let's hit it.
And it said that I was the number one most wanted person in the United States. The United States. The most wanted person in the United States. In the United
That is the killer line, isn't it? Anthony Kiedis sucking on my penis. Is that what you say?
I don't know.
That's such a-
It was
Yeah.
I on that part I wanted to say I something else, like you gotta give it away now. And then I heard that we wouldn't be able to clear that. So I was like, all right, well I gotta put something there. So it was like,
Well,
yeah.
That was an inspired choice. So, the most wanted person in the United States is the song. So, I mean, the first thing that strikes me is that bass line, the Under Me Slang Tang thing.
Yeah.
So, how did that come about? What was that choice all about?
Really good bass line. Love all the different versions.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a kind of classic digital dance hall tune from 1986 or so, but has been versioned and versioned and versioned.
Yeah.
Like so many brilliant strokes of musical genius, like say the Bo Diddley rhythm or whatever, it just enters the lexicon of music, doesn't it? And it's just there for you to pick up and use in whatever way you want to use it.
Well, it's just a preset from a keyboard. So it's like they actually you don't gotta clear it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's amazing. I mean, hey, like, you want an idea to spread, don't make people pay to use it.
Yeah, totally. So, but obviously, you heard it. You thought, well, no, how can we not use this? Or what did you think? What was going on?
I don't really know how it came into the mix.
So it was,
We had a bunch of different songs coming together as one.
yeah, so it was, you had one where it was going to be like the slang tang, and then it went into like a drum and bass type vibe. I wonder if you have a bounce of that. We have bounces of it should just be called like slang something. Slang. It was just called slang, actually. SLENG.
Yeah.
For maybe, I mean, any of them. If you have any bounces of the slang. Yeah, so that was its own song for a while, and then we also had.
Oh, here it is.
I
Yeah.
turned on the news and it said that I was the #1 most wanted person in the United States. The United States, the most wanted person in the United
Then I took his car and I crashed it in the river. Now I'm walking around like I'm a big winner.
And then we also had the earlier version of the hook there
Oh, right.
that was beatbox. I think that was that one that just played was a little bit further in, where it was we knew that we wanted to put the slang tang on that one, but then for a long time we just thought we were gonna do this beatboxing thing.
Oh,
with
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's
I turned on the news and it said that I was #1 most wanted person in the United States. The United States, the most wanted person in the United States. Woo!
yeah. So we kind of congealed all of those together into one thing because
I
couldn't
turned
decide.
on the news and it said that I was the #1 most wanted person in the United States.
And then all these different sound effects come in.
Yeah.
All these,
Scratching by
DJ Final.
DJ Final. Yep.
Yeah.
Did some scratching for the whole album.
Also, we got Cypress Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Cleared that one.
We cleared that. Yeah.
Got the Scary Movie sample in there.
Oh, yeah.
Dog's trying to kill me while I'm pissing in his
I'm supposed to run, right? Okay, I'm ready.
I turned on the news.
I think my favorite part of the song is the that one guitar part that you did for your verse. The boom, 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 boom. It scratches my brain in such a good way. Just that one little thing.
But they'll never catch me sleeping in a bed.
It sounds good. Obviously, a lot of these sounds are kind of familiar and they're used in lots of different things. You didn't go like you did with the last track and create loads of your own samples. That dog isn't Laura's new dog barking.
No.
Yep. My dog doesn't bark.
Really?
No.
All the
Wow,
sound effects
fair
are
enough.
actually just made from sine waves.
They're all
Really?
just sine waves,
Yeah.
and they're playing back at different
just F-
speeds and different
Just
volumes.
FM8.
Yeah. It's all FM synthesis.
That's always FM8.
Mm-hmm.
So what? I don't know what to say to that. What do we need to hear? So what are you playing us there, Dylan? Are you just playing different speeded up or slowed down versions, or are you?
Yeah,
Are those bits of the actual song, or you
just the
having
whole
fun?
thing. Vocals muted, kind of slowed.
He's having fun while I pull these files.
Yeah. But it's cool to hear it because this is kind of in a way part of the process, isn't it? Just
Kinda.
yeah,
Just fucking around.
yeah, yeah. That's the technical term.
I will say that's most of the process. The live remix.
We're in the mix.
Let's go.
Most of my friends are natural killers. When they leave the house, they're ready for a thriller. A look at my face is so rare, it's priceless. Driving down the
So what is
road
this
with
we're
the
listening to then?
counterfeit license.
So this is that's the original demo of the I don't know, the part of the song where the verse melody comes from or whatever. And I was fucked up about my voice, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it as delicate and quiet as possible, and I'll talk about being a killer or something.
It's interesting. I mean, the three songs that you've chosen for us to investigate a little bit are all completely different. They're all quite contrasting to each other, and they kind of help illustrate the different extremes that 100 Gecs explores, and there's all sorts of other stuff in there as well. And that's one of the really exciting things about the new album, because you've kind of, you had a whole load of things going on anyway, and now you've kind of done the same again, but in a different kind of way, and say an example might be, I got my tooth removed, where, it turns into a kind of big band project thing, which is completely different to all the things that we've been listening to as well. And it seems to me that with this record, you wanted to kind of explore things in a slightly different way. To as you were saying earlier, it's still 100 Gecs, and all the elements are still kind of there that were on the first record. But
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like that's what I think is so similar to the first one, is like, we're putting it together almost the same way. We just were given much more time, and or we took more time as well, and like, we're always just taking as much spaghetti as we can cook up and throwing it, and so in that way I think it's super duper similar. And this like congealing things together, these different project ideas and stuff together, that's just what we're always kind of doing in the same iterative sort of process. I mean, it just we're pulling from cookies from different jars this time, and more guitars, less super saws, and I feel like the differences in the making process are mostly superficial. Like we're still doing pretty much the same thing, just trying out different things, trying out new things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it works. It's so exciting to listen. I always think that, you kind of take us all on a real trip when you listen to a 100 Gecs record. It's like,
Thank you.
what are they going to throw at us? As you say, the spaghetti. No, it's kind of so many different things, and so many different things stick. I mean, as a listening experience, each time you listen, you kind of pick up on different things and walk away with those, and then the next time you pick up on a load of other things and walk away with those. All those different earworms, as it were.
Well, that's high praise. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very kind.
Yeah, it works every time.
Yeah, I mean, this one we were trying to throw more stuff in, and we layered it on pretty thick. So stream it on the fucking Xbox thing. Stream it on the Xbox
Music,
streaming service.
Microsoft Music. Yeah.
Yeah,
The vinyl?
pays out the most.
Vinyl has
Make
a
sure to
different
listen
version.
to it about. Yeah, vinyl's different mix. You can hear all the different versions. Listen to them each few times. Listen to the streaming ones more. You only have to listen to the record once for us to get the money. No, I mean, it's cool. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is essential that you buy the physical, and you check out the digital, because they're mutating and changing. And I love the fact that you kind of felt you had to keep changing for your own satisfaction. We have some questions that we ask everybody who comes on the podcast. One is a tech question, or a piece of equipment, or an instrument that you can't live without or can't create without. Is there something that is almost like an extension of your physical being that is a crucial part of your creativity?
I feel like that's always changing. Right
Yeah.
now, I got a baritone acoustic guitar, and that's my gear right now. On this album, I bought a SM7B, nice microphone. So I feel like that was my one for this album.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about you, Dylan?
Maybe clipping. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe just a guitar for that record. I don't know. Probably Serum now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Constantly changing.
Mesa Dual Rec.
Yeah, that was good. That was very crucial for the album. Yeah.
Dylan's had that one forever. It's so nice.
The other question we ask is about advice, and whether you've ever received any advice that you have actually held dear to yourself and kind of thought of on occasion, or through your own experiences, you've kind of honed advice of your own that you would pass on to other people.
I've had two mantras that I have thought of for the recording process of, I think, the first album and this album, that I always try to repeat to myself, is that One Tricks Point Never only releases an album every 2 years, and you haven't made the best thing that you're going to. I think are both important things to think about in the process.
Yeah.
So take your time, and don't freak out because you can't think of anything.
Yeah.
And Dylan, do you have anything like that?
I don't have anything like that, really.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I'm going to chuck in another question. This one comes from one of our Patreons, from Lucky You, who says, do you have any creative routines?
Yeah.
I mean, do you try and create every day, or do you give yourselves time off?
The weekends off.
Yeah, Dylan treats it. Dylan's very 5 days a week. He's in the studio.
I'm in here right now.
And Dylan, when you get in there, do you do it 9 to 5? Do you do it midday to midnight? Do you set times in that way?
I have varying degrees of success, but I usually try and leave by 7.
Yeah. My routine is definitely varying degrees of success. It usually just comes down to like whenever I have an idea, like in the shower or something, I try to get it down. But most of the time, it's not when I'm like sitting down, being like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna write something today." I don't do the everyday thing very well. I try to though. I mean, try to at least sit down, like mess around, like try to get something recorded or whatever, even if it's not good. I guess this mixes in with the advice one. I just somebody showed me this video. I think guy's a YouTuber and YouTuber journalist type vibe, and he was saying you gotta just every once in a while give yourself an arbitrary deadline to do something, and just get something finished. Like say like anything, like finish a song, like do a song in a day and finish it, and just say okay, like that's a song, and because one of my big problems is I'll start things, like I'll start 100 things, but none of them that I can ever like show anybody because I never finish them up.
Me
so
too.
He was saying, yeah. So he was saying, just do it, just fucking finish it, and then even if you don't like it, at least you're getting practice finishing something. And I thought that was good advice. I got that recently, so I been trying to put that into practice. Still, that's Dylan's vibe very much. Like Dylan did something that I really like learned from Dylan is he has like a huge bounce folder. Like I don't bounce out a lot of things that I don't like or whatever, but Dylan has like a huge bounce folder of like half of the things he would be like, oh yeah, this is shit, like whatever. But I'm like, God damn, that's a great song, So it really just got into my head of like, just do anything, just do something. Like, so I don't know how, I forget what it's about routine. So yeah, try to just do something as often as you can, but then whenever inspiration hits, do it. Whenever I do sit down though, I have to have my caffeine and I have to have nicotine. That's my whole routine.
I mean, having gone through some schooling with regard to audio and with regard to music, I mean, do you now feel that was a worthwhile process? I mean, if you were talking to up-and-coming producers or songwriters, would you say just focus on your own stuff, or is it better to have gone through those experiences as well?
Focus on your own stuff 100%.
I'm glad I went through my experiences, but yeah.
Okay, so it's good to go through. You should learn something, like it's good to learn things and to push yourself and stuff, but also focus on what you're doing. Like use the opportunities that are provided to you.
Yeah, no, loads of great advice here, I reckon. We should let you go. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been brilliant to get a little window into the world of 100 Gecs and the way that you work. We should play out one more song from the album as a kind of outro track. And I was thinking I Got My Tooth Removed might be a good choice just because it's different again, and how did this come about? What were you thinking of? And sometimes I think listening to the songs that they relate specifically to particular experiences, such as I got my tooth removed, and then that was the impetus, and then that was obviously a painful experience and an intense catalyst for creativity in some way. But I really like that element of what you're doing. That tiny and maybe not so tiny instances can be the springboard for something. So I mean, in terms of the development, what happened with this?
With this, I took tooth removed.
Yeah.
Do you have that? Do you have
how
that?
It evolved.
Yeah, I was.
Do you have that one? The early one, the early demo.
I was in my kitchen with Ellie, my fiance, and just kind of recorded this. Just kind of started just kind of,
I got my tooth removed. Got my tooth removed. Got my tooth removed. And there's nothing I can do.
type vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we kind of built it out.
When Dylan started cooking, that's when the songs really started pouring in. Yes. I think Frog on the Floor was also like that. Just like Dylan was literally cooking and just was like popped in his head.
Yeah. That's great.
And then brought it straight to Studio One, baby.
Also one more, also probably by the time this comes out, we will have released the stems to the album on our website.
Wow. And what's the idea behind that? So people can take
We
those
did it for the
stems
first
and create
album
their
and the
own-
second album.
It's fun to poke
Yeah.
around sometimes, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So anybody listening to this, any Tape Notes listener can get the stems for the record and create their own.
Steal from us.
Excellent. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you
for
so
having
much.
us. We really appreciate it.
Unforgiving made me cry all the time. You were mean, such an